prior to Vedana. That which tells me that you had done this previously and it created Vedana. Now, to dodge that Vedana, don't go this way. Whether thought, speech or action. Yeah, that is for you to see. It says, don't go this way because this is what will create the Vedana. So it is that level of understanding where there is recognition before I reach Vedana.
Didi, I have a question too. Is this the thing that happens after a while, after being on this path for a while? Nowadays, you're about to say something, but then you withhold.
Yes.
You stop.
Yes.
Because you know once you say something, this is the reaction coming from the other party and blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
So don't.
Yes. So it's basically that Vidya Tattva, you have recognized it. Now that you've recognized the Vidya Tattva, you strengthen it by listening to it. It's that which is the inner guru. Start respecting it. Have gratitude. It stopped me before I spilt the milk and was regretting later. I should be grateful for this inner voice. Yeah. And it's not a voice, it's just spoken of in those words. But it is that silent speaking from within that stops you from doing that. That means I've recognized what is Vidya Tattva. It's not even in mental words, it's not even in a mental feeling. Yeah, it's at a higher level. It's a higher level. And that is the insight exchange level. It is beyond mind, it is beyond the intellect, it is beyond feeling level even.
Didi, I have a few questions. So you talked in the beginning that the avidya tattva is the
ignorance.
It is the attack. It is so basically the attachments are the avidya tattva.
That was for Dvaitam level. Now promote yourself one level higher. How did this attachment for the person, for situations, for things come up? What is in me that is pulling me there? So instead of looking at the object, now I turn towards the subject. That is the inward turning. Now when I turn towards the subject, what is it in me that has not understood something properly, which feels that this is important and doesn't matter if I do wrong to attain this? What is that in me? And when you look within, you will find an avidya tattva is also there. Just like we are speaking about the vidya tattva, the inner guru's voice that speaks silently and tells you not to go in the unrighteous way. There is also the other satanic voice that says, go, everybody's greedy, why are you staying behind? You will miss out, blah blah blah, whatever. It's not saying it in words. That is the avidya tattva, the ignorance aspect in me that forces me to do that which later I am going to regret. Somehow I know it at the moment when I even initiate that thought, feeling or action. I know that I'm going to regret it. Yeah. Who is forcing me despite knowing? That is the avidya tattva. Get it? One level higher. Instead of looking at the external object, look at the subject.
And Didi, so consciousness, so avidya and vidya are both a part of the consciousness.
Correct.
So you said that when there was babiness, there was singleness.
Yeah.
How did this avidya get activated?
Yeah. With all the conditioning, nothing wrong with the conditioning. Nothing wrong. I had to learn, okay, this is Ekta and that is Mama and that is Baba. If I didn't learn, I would call this Mama and that Ekta and that Baba. Everything would get confused. Yeah, so of course labels were required, but they had a limited use. I chose to forget that I am Turiya. The labels needed to be limited only to the waking world, to the waker, not to me, the Turiya. But what did I do? I took labels from the waking world and I applied to Turiya. So I said, I am fat, I am thin, I am tall, I am short, I am fair, I am dark. I started putting labels of the waking world on the I, which is Turiya. Yeah. Similarly, I made mistakes. I took labels from Turiya and I slapped them onto the waker. So I said, oh, I am only peace. I am great. I am compassion. I am compassion personified. So you see, I only put labels from the wrong place on the wrong place. This is called superimposition. And who's creating this whole mess of superimposition? Mr. Avidya Tatva, the ignorance aspect.
Didi, this example that you gave, I actually wrote this in the exam answer in something, that I have confused both sides.
Yes, yes.
That I have taken the labels and this is the insight.
Yes, yes.
I see this right now. This is like I'm speaking it, but knowingness is happening.
It happened elsewhere already. The insight
It
exchange.
happened elsewhere.
Yeah. Now,
But it was already written.
written means, what do you mean? In the
I mean,
exam.
I actually wrote.
Yeah, yeah.
Exam, I wrote this.
Yes, so that's
So-
before that it happened. The insight
Yes.
exchange happened before the paper.
Yes. And Didi, it's like, it feels like when this recognition happens, like this waker, when this identification happens, there's so much overwhelming feeling that happens. Like today it happened, like, I have to work, I have to get this done, and then cooking and all that. And then there was so much, and suddenly it was recognized that, look at all this Vedana. And there was zooming out that happened. So it felt like, and I also wrote it feels like how it feels like when you enter, like suppose you are entering like a conference room and you enter the wrong conference room and in a wrong class, and then you realize and then you correct yourself and go to the correct one.
Yes.
So it feels like that.
Yes. Yes.
It immediately shifts.
Yes.
This is correct, right?
This is the Vidya Tattva that is pulling you away from the avidya. Beautiful. Yeah, that is how the Vidya Tattva starts becoming stronger than the avidya Tattva. Yeah. And then when the opposite happens, when there is indulgence in greed, anger, hatred, etc., that is the moment avidya Tattva has dominated the Vidya Tattva. So start recognizing these. These can be felt inwardly when you're inward turned. They can be felt, they can be recognized as two separate forces operating within. Yeah. They have their own energies, and that is what was labeled as the God and the devil or the Satan and angel. All these were given because layman could not figure it out. Now that all of you sit in Samadhi at least once a week, some of you sit twice a week, it's a great opportunity to dive deeper into Samadhi, come to that point where there's absolute nothingness, at least reach the second milestone, came to the nothingness and recognize which tattva got activated to get you out. It's a beautiful seeing. That's how you start recognizing, oh, hello, Mr. Avidya Tattva, I see you. And you start recognizing even Vidya Tattva. Sometimes you start talking about the wisdom with yourself in Samadhi. It is Vidya Tattva only, getting you out of thoughtlessness back to thought. That's okay. Yeah? You recognize this is applied thought. The applied thought is about the wisdom, is about the samadhi. Yeah? This is the Vidya Tattva operating. So if you're drawing a parallel between Advaita Vedanta and Buddha's path, so sustained thought comes from the avidya aspect. The applied thought comes from the Vidya aspect. Those who are doing higher levels of jhanas, thoughts go away and it's just attention. So then the applied attention is coming from the Vidya Tattva. The disturbing attention that takes you away is coming from the avidya Tattva. That's how you start recognizing these forces within. Yeah. This helps take away a lot of Dvaitam path beliefs. Now there is nothing like a God left for you. There's nothing like a devil left for you. You recognize it's me only. I am God, I am devil. I am the angel and I am the Satan. There is nothing, nobody else outside that can attack me. So fear starts going away when you start seeing I have both opposites within me. Another level opens up where you start accepting all kinds of opposites now. How can I refuse that of opposite which I see in me, which I acknowledge in me? How can I refuse that opposite in the other? Do you see that? Yeah. I see the God and the devil here. How can I refuse that God and devil both together existing in the other? Not possible. How can I do that? That would be partiality. Now you start becoming more authentic, more genuine on the path. And if you see some negative action happen through another family member, through a friend, through a colleague, now you don't look at it the way you used to look at it from the angle of ignorance. Now you understand it. It's just that little inner play of opposites that's happening there. When you start seeing this at actual direct seeing level, that is when true forgiveness happens. The weaker never needs to forgive. Yes, the Turiya consciousness that had misunderstood all this, that needs to have an understanding of both Vidya Tattva and Avidya Tattva. When it is accepted here, then it's accepted there, and then it's accepted there, and then it's accepted there. Then they are not people who were harming me. They become just coordinates of consciousness, manifesting different flavors of Vidya and Avidya. And they have their own little permutation and combination of Avidya and Vidya, permutation combination of Avidya, Vidya. Then you stop blaming, then you stop hating, then you stop being angry. Yeah. Important thing is first you see it in yourself. That's why I'm giving you this homework, very important homework. Can I see both the Avidya Tattva and the Vidya Tattva within me? It needs to be done in closed-eyed samadhi several times, and then you'll see it seep out into open-eyed. You'll start recognizing, oh, see this force in me? This I recognize as Avidya Tattva. It is forcing me to be greedy right now. You recognize it. And then you will also see many times the Vidya Tattva come up and tells you to, no, don't listen to that Avidya Tattva. Don't get into this greed. It's not good for you. It's a quiet voice. It's very meek. Why? Because I fed the Avidya Tattva all my life in ignorance. I cannot blame myself. I didn't understand it. That's why the Avidya Tattva's voice is stronger than the Vidya Tattva's voice. This is meeker, quieter. Now I need to make this stronger. And that's how, when you start working on listening to the Vidya Tattva, honoring it, being grateful for it, it becomes stronger. So it's okay for beginner level that we say, okay, Baker has to forgive that person and that person. No, actually you need to understand it at this level.
Yes, Didi. And Didi, it was like in this, like, this is so interrelated to Buddha, because in the last session, what you said, then, you know, the deep samadhi and seeing all those 5 perceptions, the panchakanda. So this was, I was journaling after, like in your notes, and this is what I was writing. The lust is the avidya. Right?
Yes.
It's that the force, that is the energy that pulls me towards the 5 khandas, right?
Yes.
Because there's always this, and then the reminder comes from the vidya. Turn, let it go.
Yes.
Let it go. Zoom out.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
And Didi, when you talked about balancing, there was this thought came. In the first semester, you did the self-exploration of balancing the polarities, plus 100 and minus 100. Is this balance and this what you talked about?
It's the same
Are
thing.
they related?
Yeah, the same thing. The same thing. You're just understanding it one level deeper, and then as you go through the book, it gets even deeper. Yeah, but work on this. Can I recognize the Vidya Tatva and the Avidya Tatva? Once I understand this, I'll be able to dive deeper.
Didi, but when you talked about the balancing the polarities, there was a self-exploration which we did, and there you talked about that as far as there is memory, that the plus 100 and the minus 100 will always balance. So will the avidya and vidya always balance it? Or hopefully the vidya will be more than the avidya,
No,
right?
That is the tax that you are paying. That is above ground. What is happening below ground? Who is the one creating the plus 100 and minus 100? That is behind the curtain, no? Below the ground. That is the Vidya aspect and Avidya aspect. The manifestation is seen as plus 100 or minus 100.
Okay. Now I see that one you were above the ground.
Yes.
Now when I'm below the ground and with Vidya, I don't care what happens above the ground. It does not matter, right?
Yes, but you have to be vigilant all the time that you recognize this. That right now the avidya aspect is dominant and its force is really strong. Can I maintain my feet cemented in vidya despite this big storm of avidya going on? Very important, huh? Then only can you get established. It's not going to be just by listening that this is going to happen. I have to stay established below with that constant understanding of, this is the Vidya force and this is the Avidya force. Not bothering about what I'm going to get with that plus 100 outside or the minus 100 outside. This is not important anymore. This is more important.
Like if I'm inward turn, like say right before the Gurukul session, there is so much tension that I need to be around time, right? Like work, cooking, kids, activities, and making it sure I'm here. So today, there was like an injury that happened. So there was so much tension, and then the zooming out happened. So the force, the avidya, that was the underlying lust that took the waker, took Turiya to the form. So, okay, that makes sense now. So this and the session 5, like last Samadhi journal, they're all related.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the underlying lust. Okay, now I see that, Didi. I've been working on it for the last 2 weeks since you explained, but this is the insight.
Good. And where did it happen?
Thank you. I don't know the local, but it's somewhere inside. Not at the waker, and
Good.
Ekta did not explain Kirti.
Good.
Kirti did not understand.
Good.
Turiya just knew this.
Yes.
Now this is this was happening in actually micro sprouting was happening.
Yes.
Nah.
That is called the insight exchange. That is the real locus of insight exchange. It only appears that it's happening here. Yeah. That's how you start saying, oh, the guru is within and the disciple is within. Turiya is teaching Turiya. Consciousness is teaching consciousness. There is no external guru-disciple at all.
Yes, Didi, very clear. Thank you so much, Didi. Today's session was so helpful.
There's a question in an online platform.
Huh.
Why I am pulled into Maya despite being aware about it?
That is what, no? The avidya aspect is dominant. Because the avidya aspect is dominant, despite me being aware, despite me knowing what the vidya is saying, but the vidya's voice is so meek. Avidya's voice is loud. It's overwhelming. It pulls me away. It takes me towards avidya. So this means I have not really worked on strengthening the vidya aspect within. Ekta can only talk to me about it. She cannot strengthen it for me. A book that I read can only describe it to me. The book cannot strengthen it for me. These are two different things. Borrowed knowledge cannot really strengthen the vidya aspect. My own work on myself. Number one, purifying the inner environment. Number two, sitting in samadhi. Number three, coming to insights and actually seeing, oh, this is the vidya aspect that spoke. Oh, this is the avidya aspect that got me out of samadhi. Actually seeing them in operation, at work. Oh, this is happening. This is what she was talking about. Understanding them. And then making an attempt to feed that weak, starving, poor little vidya aspect, making it nice and strong, and taking away all the energy from the avidya aspect. That is totally in my hands. Not giving into avidya is the way. Not giving into the negativity. I know this negativity makes my hand burn. Now, am I stupid that I will put my hand into the fire again? Been there, done that. If you're a 20-something-year-old, go out, burn your hands as much as you want. You really need to understand the world. But if you've really understood, now is the time that you start working on yourself. If you're fed up of it, if you've understood that putting my hand into the fire really burns me, and it burns me only, never burns the other. It's always me that burns. When that understanding develops, now you have to make the effort to increase inner purity. Saying no to waking names and forms. Saying no to dream names and forms. Moving away from names and forms towards that which is nameless and formless. That is the silence within. That is what the verse 94 ends in. Listen, silence speaks. It is that namelessness and formlessness that speaks. You must turn within. How much more are you going to indulge in this nonsense names and forms which are only burning you? How much? Okay.
Didi, is the insight exchange also happens in deep sleep? Sometimes,
it's not happening in deep sleep. Like I told you, insight exchange is happening at another level. So it's got nothing to do with whether waking consciousness is in operation, dream consciousness is in operation, or deep sleep consciousness is in operation. These don't matter to insight exchange. Clear? Insight exchange doesn't have a prerequisite that it should be this. this or that. There are no this and that there. Insight exchange happens whenever the environment is conducive for wisdom, receiving and giving. And it's happening internally. It's not happening at this external level anyways.
Ekta ji, this is what exactly correction at the source is, right?
Correct. Yes.
Because I always wrote it long time back. I mean, I have been writing since I have been taking classes, but all of a sudden, for a few months, I know what it exactly means when it says correction at the source, because
Yes.
it's happening to me.
Yes.
And I know the difference when it happens, and when I'm slipped also I know it.
Yes.
So
Beautiful.
it just kind of, that is the opposites. Two opposites are correcting itself
Yes.
at
Yes.
the same point.
Beautiful.
Equanimity.
Beautiful, beautiful. What she's talking about, correcting as the source, is from Nisargadatta Maharaj's book, I Am That. So he says, you don't bother about the problems here. You correct at the source. Which means that at the Vidya Tatva and the Avidya Tatva level, the correction must happen. Yeah? The Vidya Tatva must become stronger, and this Avidya Tatva in me must become weak. It's become too fat and obese. It needs to lose all that. And the Vidya Tatva, which is meek, is starving, that Vidya Tatva needs to become strong and healthy. This will help in correcting at the source. Every time the opposites come up, should I do this wrong thing or should I do the right thing, you'll automatically move towards the right thing if the Vidya Tattva is nice and healthy. Yeah? So when Maharaj says correct at the source, he's talking about strengthening the Vidya Tattva and taking the food away from the Avidya Tattva.
Maybe I have a question.
Yeah.
It's very clear, the states are basically stories by connecting arisings or lack of them. So insights are way, way beyond that. Correlating to Buddha's path, is there anything that speaks about insights?
On the Buddha's path, he only says that it all comes from shunyata. Because there is no I there, anatta, there is nobody to claim them as my insights. And insight only happens when in samadhi you reach the level of shunyata. So basically panya is coming from the shunyata level of samadhi. Panya cannot come without that. And shunyata level of samadhi cannot be attained without a strong shila. So shila leads to samadhi, which means all the way to shunyata. And from shunyata, automatically the insights emerge. Okay. So it's the same thing. Vidya Tattva has been strengthened in shila. And the stronger the shila, the stronger the Vidya Tattva, the weaker the Avidya Tattva. That makes your samadhi very quiet, still, and ability to reach shunyata is increased because of the strong Vidya Tattva. When you reach shunyata, it means that Avidya Tattva has completely been silenced and the Vidya Tattva is in its complete blossoming. That's where panya happens.
Didi, the Vidya Tattva is so active now. There is no Vidya Tattva.
Yes.
So there is it's like in retreat, where is Avidya Tattva?
Yes.
There is nothing.
Yes.
That's why I love being, I want to be in knowledge session, then I get overwhelmed. But I love being in the knowledge. I make time to sit, journal. I love to do samadhi. I love self-explorations. That's why I said start self-explorations. I'm going to force myself and sit and volunteer. So I sit. So that is all Vidya Tatva, right? Just
Correct. Yes.
wanting to blossom.
Yes, yes, yes. And that is what is really helping you to recognize every little thing, every little one thing I just say, and you've already recognized it. The insight exchange has happened. I didn't have to explain that too long. You all got it like that. Yeah? Because of that Vidya Tattva already, that bulb has been lit. And now your only task remains to bring it into your open-eyed daily routine. Yeah? With the family member, with the most difficult family member, with your office, with the most difficult person in office, with respect to your money, with respect to your portfolio, with respect to your retirement account, with respect to everything anatma. That is where you need to bring it out. Samadhi is not samadhi until it percolates into your open-eyed daily routine. Like that only wisdom is not wisdom if it does not percolate into your open-eyed daily routine. Make that your goal. That is why I must attempt to deepen my Vidya aspect, understand it better, dive deeper into yourself to recognize it. Yeah, some of us still don't understand the Vidya and Avidya aspects. We must dive deeper. We must see where insight exchange happens truly. We must see what is an appearance and then implement that multiple times. Yeah, the spouse is an appearance, the parent is an appearance, the progeny is an appearance, the money is an appearance, the disease of the body is an appearance. Yeah, everywhere, these are appearances. These are just appearances. Appearances don't speak to each other. Appearances can't listen. Appearances cannot really interact. What is going on? This is all an illusion. And I'm giving so much undue importance to the illusion. I'm expecting the illusion to deliver happiness to me. How can the poor illusion deliver happiness? It doesn't have the ability to deliver happiness to me. I am the crazy one beating around the bush. I need to wake up from this. Like that, you get out of your avidya, strengthen the Vidya Tattva. That is your responsibility. Earlier you were ignorant, so it could be excused. Okay, you didn't know. Now you know. Now you know. Now if you still indulge in avidya and ignore the vidya, then you are pragya aparadhi. Pragya is awareness, aparadh means crime. Yeah, so you are an awareness criminal. It's a crime of the awareness, basically. One must not do that once one realizes, oh, this is so peaceful. This keeps me sane. Why would I want to go back into putting my hand into the fire and being all crazy about it? Yeah. Stay sane. Very important. Stay sane. Okay? Are we done with all?